Good evening. Thank you for joining me to review the current state of the city of Imperial Beach. I join with my city council colleagues, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Spriggs, Councilmember Paloma Aguirre, Councilmember Jack Fisher, and Councilmember Matthew Leyba Gonzalez, in hoping that each of you is healthy and safe. Before starting, I would like to invite one of the most inspirational members of our community, Matt Henry, to offer an invocation.
Imperial Beach! I'm both honored and stoked to give the invocation for the State of the City address. With all that we're facing right now as we try to navigate our little community through a worldwide pandemic with problems bigger than us, problems that affect every child, every parent, every school, every business, and every citizen, it really only makes sense to ask for help and wisdom from something bigger than ourselves. And that's exactly what an invocation is. The part of the official proceedings like this, where thoughts and prayers are shared to invoke or invite God's power, authority, and assistance. So it's my privilege to do so. What I'd like to share is from the Apostle Paul's writings to Timothy. He instructs us to not only pray for ourselves, but also for our leaders. He writes, "I urge then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings," in this case probably the mayor is what he would say here, "and all those in authority, like our city council members, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and come to a knowledge of the truth." So tonight is my privilege to pray for our mayor, our city councils, and you as well. Heavenly Father, I do pray for all people, all the residents of Imperial Beach, and I pray for our mayor and every member of our city council. God, none of us were prepared for this pandemic, and our leaders are under an enormous amount of pressure as they try to navigate our community through stormy, uncharted waters with employment, businesses, education, and even lives at stake. God, they need all the help that they can get. I thank you for them, and I pray that you would grant them wisdom so that we may live peaceful, quiet, and safe lives in the community of Imperial Beach. Lives that please you, Jesus. May God bless America, and may God bless Imperial Beach. You guys stay stoked.
Thank you so much, Matt, for all that you do to inspire us and give us hope. San Diego County Sheriff's Deputy Richard Pelle will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Deputy Pelle, and for all that the sheriffs do for our community. As mayor, I join my council colleagues to remember all those impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. We have missed graduations, weddings, funerals, and many other activities. In Imperial Beach, we have not only experienced the loss of jobs, but even the loss of life. And we thank first and foremost the health officials and first responders who have sacrificed time with family and put themselves in harm's way to protect all of us. 2020 was challenging, but in IB we are used to working hard to reach success because we have to continually fight for our city to have the same access to resources that every other resident in San Diego County takes for granted. Over the past year, Imperial Beach was a model for addressing the impacts of the pandemic. In addition to early and decisive action from the city, our residents stepped up, and as a community, we sprang into action. As COVID hit, the city of Imperial Beach created a virtual city hall. The city council adopted the first financial preparation and recovery plan in the county. And one of the first testing and then vaccination sites in the county opened in IB. To support our small businesses, we provided over $120,000 in small grants to help business owners who are the lifeblood of our community. Our staff, many working remotely, sacrificed their family life to ensure that all municipal services continue to be delivered without a hitch. Last year, days after the stay-at-home health order was issued, I formed the Mayor's Task Force on COVID-19 to address testing and medical issues, public safety impacts, and to assist the most vulnerable residents in our community, as well as ensure financial stability and recovery. Residents, elected officials, and staff spent countless hours organizing for an unknown future. I want to thank everyone that stepped forward to serve on the task force and staff for being so adaptive and willing to do whatever it needed to be done to address the situation at hand. Over the past year, the professionalism of our public safety personnel was on full display. It is hard to express the emotional moments we experienced when the pandemic took hold, for example, in the impacts in a local assisted care facility. I was a witness to see how the fire department was relentless in pursuing assistance for that facility, as well as our senior living facility in Imperial Beach. Despite some of those efforts, multiple lives were lost in our assisted living facility, and I witnessed a new commitment that this would not happen again on their watch, and it hasn't. In addition to responding to 2,892 calls in 2020, our IB firefighters accepted the call to help fight wildfires surrounding Yosemite National Parks, Napa, and Sonoma counties, and the Valley Fire that impacted San Diego County. And with dry conditions forecast for our state, we can expect our firefighters to heed the call once again and assist those in need throughout the state. And we're proud of them for doing so. Despite the frustrations associated with COVID and residents spending more time at home, the San Diego County Sheriff's Department reported a 6.8 decrease in the Imperial Beach crime rate. That's important. We saw crime rates explode nationally and even in San Diego County. And because our sheriffs worked with our staff and our residents and business owners to clamp down on crime as the COVID crisis hit, we saw a decrease in crime. That's something to celebrate. And even with record beach closures over the past 15 months, residents and visitors alike flocked to our beaches. IB lifeguards conducted 15,346 preventative water safety actions, 149 water rescues, 216 medical aids, and 28,000 enforcement warnings in 2020, or more than 120 contacts per day on average. And the recent rescues that our lifeguards carried out at night, where they rescued 2 lives but lost 1 because people jumped off the pier in the middle of the night, only illustrates the amazing professionalism, technical skills, and commitment to public safety that our lifeguards show every day of the week, and who always are there to make sure that our residents can have great days at the beach. And another great crew is our Public Works crews, and that's when City Hall and other public facilities reopen, they will be as much safer because of the installation of new touchless plumbing fixtures and other improvements to public buildings. Even while addressing COVID, our Public Works crews still repaved and restriped over 115,000 square yards of asphalt roadways, installed 3 new high-profile lighted flashing crosswalks on some of our busiest streets, and maintained all of our parks and open spaces. One of the most important projects completed in 2020, one of the most beautiful, was the IB Boulevard Enhancement Project. The project repaved over 40,000 feet of asphalt with 120 new ADA ramps, 3 high visibility crosswalks, and 50,000 square feet of sidewalks. This award-winning project has been recognized as the 2021 San Diego Chapter of the American Public Works Association Project of the Year, as an Excellence Engineering Merit Award winner from the California State Association of Counties, and an honorable mention for the Complete Streets program. And it's a drop-dead gorgeous program, and it's done so much to make our community safer and more beautiful, and we look forward to doing many more of those types of projects throughout our city. And now we have a safer roadway to make sure that our kids and families and our seniors have safer crosswalks, expanded sidewalks, bicycle lanes, and most importantly, safer streets that reduce accidents and pedestrian and bicycle fatalities and accidents. In 2020, the Community Development Department issued or conducted 588 permit applications and 5,281 inspections. Even during the pandemic, projects continued and several were completed, including the great upgrade of Jack in the Box, the brand new Hampton Inn that provides affordable hotel accommodations in Imperial Beach. It's a great facility. Mike has Brewing and several other smaller projects. These projects are critical to our recovery efforts. Now, to give you an example of how important they are, these projects, for example, Mike Hess Brewing and City Tacos added 33 new jobs, consisting of mostly local workers. The new Hampton Inn employs 25 people, and the Jack in the Box has 34 new employees. So that's a total of 92 new jobs created when we needed them the most. Now, we lost a lot of jobs, but the fact is, We help get those permits approved quickly. We help get those projects built quickly and open quickly, and we create a job and revenues for our city that will help us more than anything we can do to get back more quickly. So because we create jobs for local residents as well as generate revenues that we can reinvest back in the community. To help businesses affected by COVID, we allowed folks to do outdoor expansions, and the program has been so successful that residents and business owners have been asking to make it permanent. The Environment and Natural Resources Department completed 900 stormwater inspections, reviewed 86 stormwater code enforcement cases, and removed 915 illegally dumped items from city alleys. And I thank all the residents who text us and email us and ask us to remove all the debris that they see on city streets and alleys. That's an important part of keeping our city safe and clean. Imperial Beach does such a great job of managing our environment and reducing our footprint that we were recognized as the first Blue Sea by Project O, a data-driven approach to assess efforts at protecting waterways and oceans. And that's important because we know the impact that happens when other agencies and governments and countries don't do their job to protect the environment. And that's why we're working at the local, state, federal, and international level to resolve the crisis in the Tijuana River Valley. Now, while we can celebrate securing $300 million for the EPA for long-term fixes and $15 million from the state of California to support local efforts, we will continue to work with the new administration on short and long-term actions to solve this transboundary pollution crisis. But let me make this clear. There's no excuse for any government or any country to ever discharge raw sewage and toxic waste in our waterways and onto our beaches. There's no excuse for it. It needs to stop, and we will continue to push harder than ever to make this happen. And I appreciate all the residents who are continually contacting me about this issue, but more importantly, taking action with other federal officials and agencies to make sure that this issue is addressed and stopped once and for all. In other good news, in 2020, the residents of Imperial Beach passed Measure I, a 1-cent sales tax initiative in the city. It will provide the city approximately $1.3 million annually to create and maintain clean, safe neighborhoods. And every department will play a role in this effort. Because the mission of the city of Imperial Beach is to enhance and maintain Imperial Beach as a classic Southern California, a beach-oriented community with a safe, small-town, family atmosphere, rich in natural and cultural resources, it makes setting priorities for 2021 and the next year even easier. As we move forward in recovery, public safety in Imperial Beach will be at the front and center of everything we do. We will strive to keep our residents, our business owners, and visitors safe in our community, and that also includes continuing to focus on improving safe streets and make sure that all of our residents can have the safest streets and roadways possible. We will focus on implementing a recreation program that will provide quality programs and activities and opportunities to all members of the community, as well as improving and expanding our recreational infrastructure. That's important to me because I grew up at the Parks and Rec program in IB. I learned how to play guitar, not that well. I played tennis. I learned how to swim at the Mar Vista pool, which was then a City of Imperial Beach pool. And we need to do everything we can to bring back not just a great program, but a world-class Parks and Rec program to the city. And part of that includes negotiating a shared use agreement with the Sweetwater School District to use our what will be a brand new 50-meter pool in a couple of years so that our kids, our seniors, and families have access to an amazing aquatic center that will break ground this summer for construction. I can't tell you how excited I am by that. I learned how to swim at the Mar Vista pool. My kids learned how to swim at the Mar Vista pool. And given the fact that our beaches are closed so much, we need to make sure that every kid in IB has access to a great pool, can learn how to swim, and can have some of the best days of their lives, just like I did, whether it's on a swim team, a water polo team, or just being at the pool with their friends and family. It's such an important resource for all of us. You know, we will recover from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and embrace a renewed dedication to make Imperial Beach not only the coolest little beach town on the planet, but one in which we support recreational community programs for all. We will continue to work even harder to fight for clean beaches, water, and air for our residents, because the current endless cycle of beach closures is absolutely unacceptable. But most importantly, we will help our residents reconnect with one another, because what we have learned over the past year is that we all thrive when we have the opportunity to be with one another in our parks, in our businesses, on our beaches and trails, enjoying the wonderful people and outdoor spaces of our beautiful little, totally awesome beach town. Now, as part of this, the State of the City, we do our Mayoral Community Awards, and I would like to honor a few individuals, businesses, and organizations that accomplished some remarkable things during incredibly challenging times. The first up is the IB Neighborhood Center, and specifically Executive Director John Griffin-ATIL, who has been a leader over the last year in helping our most vulnerable populations during the pandemic. The center organized activities such as food drives, blood drives, providing shelter for those in need, and a food pantry to help those that needed a helping hand. And I was a witness to the great work they did, and just the unbelievable energy and commitment by John and his entire team and all the volunteers in really doing everything they could to respond to the pandemic.
Hi, I'm John Griffin-ATIL, the Executive Director of the Imperial Beach Neighborhood Center. We appreciate this recognition given to us by the Mayor and the City Council for our work during the pandemic. So on behalf of our Board of Directors, our partners, a grocery outlet and San Diego Food Bank, our community partners that we've worked with like Suncoast Co-op and IBAC, community members like Josie Hamada, and definitely on behalf of our many, many faithful volunteers who stepped up to make face masks that we distributed, donated blood, distributed food to hundreds of families every month, people who brought in food for our food pantry, and those who helped with our Saturday morning program for those experiencing homelessness. It's all because of these individuals that we can now receive this recognition. This truly may be the worst of times, but I can tell you that it has brought out the best in the people of Imperial Beach. So on behalf of all of those who stepped up at the Imperial Beach Neighborhood Center, I say thank you.
Another person who's played an incredible role in helping Imperial Beach during these trying times has been Dr. Ramon Hernandez of the UCSD School of Medicine, an IB resident for a very long time, who is instrumental in helping us through the public health crisis. He served part of the mayor's task force and consistently provided helpful resources to staff and the community. He's been an indispensable part of our ability to address this crisis, and we thank him for all his leadership and all the good work he does at UCSD and for especially the South Bay.
Hello, Mayor Dedina, council members, city manager, and friends and family who are on this call this evening. Thank you. I really can't say thank you enough for this recognition that you're giving me tonight. It's hard to imagine that a year ago, when we started with COVID, we'd find ourselves a year later in the spot. But during that time, through all your collective leadership, all the work that our community members have done, we got a testing site, we got a clinical trial site, we got a vaccine site, and so much work that was done to make sure to keep our community safe and healthy during this pandemic. I'm looking forward to the work post-COVID as the vaccine rollout continues to make sure that we keep Imperial Beach the healthiest city here in the county, if not in the state, and I look forward to all that work with you. Thank you again. Again, incredibly honored and just so much gratitude, and wish you all well. Thank you.
I know a place that was our go-to restaurant during the pandemic, and that's a Coronado Brewery. And over the last year, no one did more than Ron Chapman, the owner of the Coronado Brewing, who served a vital role within our business community, leading by example and always doing the right thing. Coronado Brewing followed every regulation, precaution, and suggestion to keep their patrons safe and their business open. And obviously, it was the most challenging time ever to constantly maneuver through the constant changes in rules. And business owners like Ron and his entire Coronado Brewery team really stepped forward to address the needs of the community, and also just maintain his business. And for that, we are thankful. And I know personally, this is our go-to spot, and we look forward to celebrating great community, family, and friendship events at the Coronado Brewery and all the other restaurants and establishments in IB as we move forward into 2021 and 2022.
Hello, this is Ron Chapman from Coronado Brewing Company. We are honored to accept this mayoral community award from the City of Imperial Beach. It's been a very trying year, and want to thank the City of Imperial Beach and its leadership for keeping our families and businesses safe during this very difficult time. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Another person who has been just such a tremendous asset is Barbara Jimenez from the County of San Diego Health Department, who used to live in IB, and obviously she has a soft spot for IB in her heart. She went beyond and above and beyond in helping us provide resources to our residents by opening a testing site and one of the first vaccination sites in the county. And Barbara and her public health team at the County of San Diego have just been tremendous resource for Imperial Beach, and are always there to always do something to help us and go to the next steps to make our community safe.
Thank you, Mayor Dedina and members of the City Council. As I think many of you know, I grew up and have spent my career in South Bay and was also a resident for many years of Imperial Beach. And every time I'm in Imperial Beach, I feel revitalized by its youth and diversity. Being presented this award is truly an honor, and it's one that I share with my colleagues at the County of San Diego. Responding to a pandemic is an all hands on deck situation. It takes leadership from the top, including at the top of each community. And the support from Imperial Beach was critical to the county's early efforts to establish COVID-19 testing in Imperial Beach, and more recently, transition to vaccinations. We are on our way to herd immunity, but we have a ways to go. We are not out of the pandemic woods. We need to keep wearing our mask, maintain social distance, continue all those good practices that keep us safe. Thank you again, Mayor Dedina, for this honor and the honor of being able to continue working with you and city leadership as we work to getting back to the things we love.
Probably one of the people that I talked to most to over the last year, and I tend to hang out there anyways, is Mark Aronson, the owner and proprietor of Grocery Outlet. Mark and his entire team fought hard to make sure residents of Imperial Beach had the necessities when other stores and locations had empty shelves. He never wavered on his dedication to the community and, of course, to his staff. And if you know anything about Grocery Outlet, like I do, it really, besides the pier, is our town plaza. It's where everyone goes to hang out and talk. If you want to see people and your friends and family, you go to Grocery Outlet, you'll talk to them in the aisles, share information on what's great. And I really do thank Mark for just being so on it and so committed to his staff, his store, but more importantly to Imperial Beach and our community. It's a great testament to his leadership that we had a great grocery store at affordable prices that stayed open and was shelf stocked during this pandemic.
Hello, IB. I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for presenting us with the mayoral award. We truly appreciate it being part of the fabric of the community, and for 75 years, Grocery Outlet Bargain Market has been bringing some of the best bargains to people across the western United States. We love that we live in Imperial Beach and hope that you guys continue to shop us. And thanks again for supporting local, and we would love to see you in the store anytime you can make it in. Thank you once again, and have a great day.
So with that, I want to thank all of you for joining in for the 2021 Imperial Beach State of the City Address. I look forward to a great 2022 next year as we all get back to the things we enjoy the most about living the classic Southern California lifestyle in IB, our totally awesome, cool as ever little beach town. Thank you all so much.